This video is part 2 in a mini-series on trigonometry. In part 1 we focused on the sine rule. Here in this video we'll see how the cosine rule works. There are two basic equations to remember when calculating the sides and angles for non-right-angled triangles. The first is for angles. For calculating an angle, cosine angle A equals side B squared plus side C squared minus side A squared over 2 times side B times side C. The equation works for all angles, where switching A for B or A for C is acceptable. The reason it can be converted is that we could relabel any side and opposite angle to A. This would not be possible if this was a right-angled triangle, and in this instance Pythagoras' theorem would be used in its place. The second equation is for the sides. Here, A squared equals B squared plus C squared minus 2 times B times C times cosine A. Again, this equation works for all sides, as any could be considered A. So let's try an example. In this problem, only the sides are known. We can therefore use the cosine angle rule to work out the first angle. Plugging in the variables, we can calculate cosine A. We can then apply inverse cosine to find angle A, which in this case is 50 degrees. We can calculate angle B using the cosine rule. I'm going to fast forward here as we saw this calculated for angle A earlier. So angle B is worked out as 70 degrees. We could check this calculation using the sine rule. Using sine B equals B sine A over A gives us 70 degrees. The final angle can be calculated by deducting the two knowns from 180 degrees. Angle C is therefore 60 degrees. If two sides and the opposite angle is known, the missing side can be worked out using the cosine rule. Plugging in the variables for side C, we have all the data we need. And inverting C squared by applying square root to the other side gives us a side length C of 45.22. Angle A could be calculated using the cosine angle rule, or we could apply the sine rule as explained in part 1 of this video mini-series. The final angle can then be calculated by deducting the two knowns from 180 degrees. Angle B is therefore 70 degrees. There are other methods to calculate the angles. I'm not going to go into it in great detail here, but the tangent rule can be used in place of the sine and cosine rules. After application of the tangent rule, the missing angle can be calculated by deducting the two knowns from 180 degrees. The final side can be calculated by applying the sine rule to side C. To summarise, we've learned to use the cosine rule to work out any given angle or side. We've learned how to use the sine rule to find missing sides and also incorporated the tangent rule.